What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. I feel like this one's been a long time coming. I've been waiting on this truck for a while now, but the Losi LMT is finally here with me. You can see the box is pretty massive, so I'm unboxing it on the pool table today instead of on the workbench. We'll get the truck out of the box and then we'll move over to the workbench. I'm sure if you've clicked on this video you know all about this truck already, so I'm not going to go too much into detail on the box itself. We're just gonna crack it open and get started. So satisfying. We'll get more into the truck in a second when I get it on the workbench. We got one more box to open here. Obviously, like all RCs, we got us a manual here. And the transmitter. I know the lighting and the camera situation isn't perfect here on the pool table, so let's get the truck over to the workbench and we'll go over it. Alright, so first impressions is this thing's pretty big. Like most of you know, I do have an Axial SMT10, and we'll get to the comparisons between those two later. They definitely don't both fit on the workbench at one time though, so we're going to focus on this truck right now. I'm sure you've seen the body mount system on these trucks. The two pins in the front, as well as the two on the sides. And the body pivots up. You can see the wire hanging here for the LED lights, the included LED lights in the body. A nice scale touch. First off, that body does look pretty nice. Not sure if the color variance comes up on camera, but there is a little bit of variance in the black between the body and the decals on the side. Not a huge deal. I'm sure this body will get scratched up pretty quickly. Another really cool detail with the body is the cage molded inside of it, as well as the driver figure. There's a lot of detail in the seat, as well as the dash, which is really nice. On to the inside now, we have that twin vertical plate system, which should hold up very nicely as well, give us a lot of tuning options for suspension if we want. The videos I've seen, the truck looks very well set up straight out the box. But we'll see once we get out there and start running if we want to make any changes. Another thing I noticed right off the back, keeping with the scale details, is the headers. It's a really nice touch. I'm really liking just the overall beefiness of everything. These links are huge. The sway bars, front and rear, I might add, are really nice and sturdy looking. These shocks are very big. The truck itself looks pretty well built and looks like it'll take a beating. Speaking of taking a beating, I know many of you know of my problems I've had with the Axial SMT10 axles. I've had a lot of problems with the diffs and stripping out diff gears left and right. This truck has some really nice big beefy axles with an 1/8 scale diff inside of it. That should hold up to a whole lot of abuse. The knuckles, everything on this axle looks bulletproof, looks built to last. I have seen a couple of people that had earlier models snap the axles, but I'll test it myself and see what I can put it through. I'm really liking just watching the suspension work, pushing up and down on the truck. I'm pretty excited to see it working once I get out there and start hitting some jumps. The truck comes with the Spektrum system in it, a 130 amp ESC and a 3150 kV brushless motor. This is my first vehicle with a Spektrum system in it. This is my first taste at the Spektrum electronics. From the things I've seen so far, they look really nice and looks like it provides a ton of power for this truck on both 2S and 3S. Keeping with the Spektrum products, we have the S614S servo. I've actually seen some really good things about this servo in this truck, so I'm excited to try it out myself. In a solid axle monster truck with the big tires, normally the servo is the first thing to go, the first thing we replace. And there's a bunch of options out there if it does need to be replaced. But I'm excited to see what kind of torque this thing has and see how well it performs once I get out there. And The last Spektrum item is the radio, obviously. It seems like a relatively simple RTR radio. I'm not super familiar with it at all, so I can't go through and tell you all of its features. I do know if you're using the Spektrum smart batteries as well, it has this nice little battery level right here that'll tell you exactly how much juice you still have in your pack. I'm normally one to swap over all my RCs to my own radios, but I'm gonna give this one a shot for a while, see how it works out, see how I like it, and if I want to switch afterwards, then I'll do that. Something really cool and different that I'm interested in checking out and trying out is the rubber drive cushion, I guess you can call it, inside here. Basically, it replaces a slipper clutch and protects the center diff as well as the driveline itself from those hard hits and nasty landings when you're on the power and all wheels hit at the same time, or maybe just the front or back wheels hit at the same time. There's a rubber cushion in there that should protect the gearing and all of the driveline components. Almost forgot the bag with the manual in it. We have some spare parts here. It's actually some body posts here to be able to mount up a different body. We have batteries for the transmitter, which is always nice. And another battery strap. I'm assuming this one is for a 3S pack, more high capacity 3S pack. In the manual, as always, I go through these off camera normally, but it's good to get to know the truck before you get out there and start running it. So just make sure you go through it before you get out there and start bashing around. But I know there's a bunch of videos out there on this truck already, so I'm not going to keep you waiting much longer. I'm going to do exactly that. Get out there and start bashing around. Well, I had some pretty high expectations for this truck, but honestly, it impressed me even more. I ran it only on 2S tonight, and it had a ton of power. The truck easily pulled the front wheels off the ground. It easily backflipped. I'm pretty sure I could have even backflipped it off of the ramp, not using the backflip ramp. The wheelie bar does a nice job of keeping the truck up. The truck handled a whole lot of abuse. I found myself kind of being rougher with it than I would my SMT10. After I get a little bit more drive time with this truck, we're going to do a complete comparison between it and the SMT10. That'll be its own video. So make sure to look out for that after we get some more wheel time with this thing. Like I said, the Spektrum system, the power was pretty damn good. I was really happy with it. I took some really hard landings and never broke anything. I mean, never heard no clicking in the diffs. That crush drive must work pretty well, it looks like so far. The truck handles excellent. I mean, it just all around drives great. I really enjoyed driving the truck, and that was just my first taste of it. It flies well through the air, seems pretty balanced. It looks like it'll be really easy to perform stunts with. Like I said, I didn't get into much of that tonight, but that'll be in the next couple of running videos. I plan on throwing a 3S pack in it to see how it performs. Just after the first run, I'm just really happy with the truck overall. I think Losi did a great job with this thing. I know some people complain about the twin vertical plate system and the cage not being a true tube frame chassis, but I feel like it's set up well and it works well. The only complaint I had at all, which turned out to not even be something major, is I found as I was running it, I found the steering servo felt kind of weak. Kind of like it wasn't steering all the way left or right. I had seen a couple of reviews talk about how well this servo worked in this truck for an RTR servo. So that was kind of disappointing. I was worried that maybe something had happened to it already. It wouldn't be a big deal because I could just change it out and throw in a high torque servo. But it was kind of disappointing if something had happened to it. When I got the truck back on the bench right here, I had noticed though, the problem was the servo saver. Now, I will say I love this servo saver because I landed the truck directly on the nose, and with the wheels turned one way or another, landing on one tire or the other a bunch of times, and never broke the servo, obviously. But this little nut on the end, this collar, had backed out almost all the way. It had backed out to about right here. And as you can see, I can now almost steer all the way without the servo actually turning. So what had ended up happening was when I was steering, the servo was turning, but the servo saver was so loose it wasn't letting the tires turn. Just something to keep in mind if you notice this on your LMT as well. Other than that though, I have zero complaints at all. I had a smile on my face driving this truck the entire time. I wish I had more time, but it got dark out pretty quickly, and I want to get this video up this week. Like I said though, over the weekend the plan is to get some more running footage in, run another 2S pack through it, as well as throw a 3S in it and see how it performs. I want to really test this thing out, send it through the air, see what kind of stunts we can perform. And then we'll get on to, I guess, like a final review and a comparison to the SMT10. I know I've been seeing a whole bunch of posts on these trucks. I hope everyone else is enjoying them as much as I'm enjoying this one already. If you want to see more videos on the truck on the channel, make sure to subscribe. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. And as always, thanks again for watching. Peace.